Hello, I'm very happy that you could join us today. Today we're going to be painting a happy little drag queen. The first thing that we have to do is start with a completely blank canvas. And as you can see, this is completely blank. I have though covered it in a layer of liquid clear, and that is going to enable the paint to stick to the surface and blend directly on the canvas. I've got my palette here beside me. I won't be showing you the colours on screen because we're going to discover them together. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to need is your trusty sponge. And we're going to use this lovely calico colour to paint a nice base onto the canvas. So just using some dabbing motions, just very light dabbing motions, all over the canvas. Really push the paint into the canvas so that it covers every inch in this beautiful colour. Remember, this is your world. This is your face. You are the creator. You are the architect. I'm very much a drag lover. I quite often like to go out into the dressing rooms and talk to the other drag queens, and sometimes the wigs. You'll be surprised what you find when you walk into a drag room. And as we do this, the liquid clear makes all this blend beautifully and create this lovely matte surface that's going to be a really good basis for all of the features that we're going to be painting onto the canvas a bit later. Again, just dabbing motions, not too much pressure. Just lightly touch over the canvas. Just create that lovely background. Now we've got the base all done, we're going to paint some mountains onto our canvas. So let's suppose our first mountain is from here right up here, and we're going to go like that, just like that. And then we're going to fill in the shading, give this mountain some depth. This is the valley. This is where the sun won't hit. Create a nice bit of depth. This will give the illusion of depth to your painting. And we're just going to bring that bit of shading up here, because this is where the light isn't going to hit. So all the way up. Everything that's further back in your painting needs to be a bit of a shade darker. So let's bring it up here. Let's bring it up there. And let it blend into your base colour so the two colours merge together and become best friends. Now let's give this mountain a friend. Everyone needs a friend. Let's do that. There we are. And let's shade that in there. So it looks a little bit like a reflection. Things look symmetrical. And we're just going to do the same on the other side. We're going to make sure the darkest parts are the bits that are further back, and the lighter bits are at the front. There we are. Now we're just going to take a slightly darker shade. This is a very darkest one on this palette. And we're just going to go over this bottom of this mountain valley just to give it a little bit more definition. There we are. Just a bit more definition. And on the other side, just very, very, very subtle, very small amount, not much pressure. There we are. Just a little bit. And if you make a mistake, don't worry. You can just blend it out. That's a good thing about painting. Any mistake you make, you can just blend it right out. And there are other parts of the canvas as well that will actually have a bit of an illusion of being further away, such as right here. Again, I'm just using my 1-inch brush. Just pat that lightly, and you can always blend with a finger. And now, underneath the canvas needs doing too. Again, this is all about illusion. Painting should always be fun. It should always be fun. We should always be having fun. You should always trust the process. Now the main feature on our painting is going to be this mountain in the middle. This is the peak. This is where we're going to look at. So we're just going to do a little line down there like that. That's all it needs, just a little line, not much pressure, just Just enough, just let the paint break naturally. And again, still using your 1-inch brush, you just go down like that. You can always refine it later. You can always do it later. This is your world. This is your painting. Now for the highlight. We're going to take this triangular sponge and apply it to the places where light would naturally hit. That would be here and here. Just there. Just there. There. And a nice generous amount on here. You might need to add a little bit more as we go, but we're going to be blending and blending. I like to study faces. I'd always say, go out and study faces and see the beauty and individuality in every single face that you see, and talk to people. Get to appreciate their faces. And what we're doing is we're just making sure that the lightest parts of our canvas remain light, so it gives the impression of there being a nice beam of light heading straight towards it, and that everything that is prominent shines brightly. And again, you may need to reapply. Sometimes certain things, like this area here, may need a little bit more light. When you finish with your brushes, always make sure you clean them with odorless micellar water and beat the diva out of it. We can refine these as we go along, but for now we're just going to continue on with some of the features of our painting. Let's give this canvas a nice eyebrow, shall we? Let's give it a nice featured eyebrow. Not too much pressure, just little strokes. Little strokes. There we are. Now let's give it a friend. All eyebrows need friends. We all need friends. But nice trunk there. There, with this nice white base, we can add some extra colours on, give it a bit more depth. What we're going to do is these colours are just going to make friends. We've got this light blue up here and this slightly darker blue. These two colours are just going to blend and make friends. Be best friends. Everyone needs a friend. And once again, we are blending these beautiful colours together. This happy little colour sitting here, this happy little blue, lovely blue colour, making friends with all the other blues. There, we've created some valleys and some hills right there. Look at that lovely blue. It's nice water, reflective water. There, we've got our two mountains and then the main mountain in the front, and we've got the depth and the highlight all showing there. What this painting needs though is a few wings, a few birds. So let's get some wings going on there. That's one wing. And that's the other wing. So we're flying, everyone, we're flying. And here we're just adding some highlight to those mountains. This is where the sun is going to hit. This is where you're going to get a nice big ray of sunshine. And that makes the depth of the valley pop even more. And we're just going to go over these nice black wings and make sure they're proper black, like really showing exactly how much of a wing they are. Now we're going to go into our titanium white, and we're going to take a very small little brush, not too much, just a little bit, and we're going to add a bit of highlight to just below these hills here. I'm going to extend that highlight up there, so it's flying away, nice bit of light. And of course, every happy little mountain needs a friend. So let's do on the other side. And again, just extend that highlight up there. Nice shaft of light. Now we're just going to add another wing below this wing. So I'm just going to go over this a little bit and give the top wing a lower wing. And just extend it up a little bit. But never touching. The wings must never touch. Now we're just going to take a nice little flary brush. I'm just going to flick very lightly, give a few little branches. There we are. Just flick it nice and lightly. And of course, the friend needs some branches as well, so make sure you add some branches to the friend over here. And as you can see here, we have now added an extra feature where there's a nice couple of juicy red lips. A bit of a flower going on there, a bit of brightness, a bit of summer, a bit of shine. Now we're going to add a little bit more shine into those valleys and those hills there. So we're going to take this lovely shimmery colour and just tap it lightly into the corners. Just add a bit of light. This all gives the illusion of depth. And all gives the impression that things are closer than they actually are, or further away than they actually are. What we're going to do is just going to make sure that these valleys are nice and deep. Just make sure they really show how deep they can go. There we are. Now, imagine morning is broken and you get a little bit of nice pinkish ray, don't you? So let's add a little bit of peach, first of all, just to start, just a little bit of peach to the top of this mountain right here. Just so the sun is just kissing the mountain. And now we're going to do some nice roses. Let's do some nice line of roses up on this hill. Nice pink going on there. Just lightly tap on those roses. And let it blend in. Let it blend. And add a little bit to just below this mountain. A few roses on the bottom of this mountain. That'd be good for the mountain. Now we're just going to go back over this mountain. Make sure this mountain really, really stands out and that it doesn't just fade. That we know exactly what this is meant to be. Let's give it a nice little dip in the middle so that it then comes back up here. A little bit of shadow underneath it there to make the very peak of that mountain come through. And we're going to take a little bit of shimmer just to add it to that. So nice bit of snow-covered mountain there. Bit of snow on the mountain. And maybe there's a bit of snow halfway down the mountain too. And I think the other mountains, they need a little bit of snow. They need a bit of shine. They need a bit of glisten. So let's just put a little bit on there. Just give the impression of a bit of snowfall that's happened overnight. And now the sun is picking up on those nice little lights there. And don't forget to sign your painting. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I really do appreciate it. And wherever you are, I wish you all the very best. Bye-bye.